Hey everyone, so I've got a spare 10-15 minutes, so I thought I would film a quick video today and talk about meal prep. I've seen quite a few bits and bobs about meal prep, so I thought I would put my own bit of information in for what it's worth. So with regards to meal prep has to be one of the most important parts of any diet, and is probably one of the most overlooked things from a newbie's point of view, or anyone getting into doing dieting properly. They think I can just do it on the fly. I can just stop at a supermarket and buy some lunch, or whatever it might be. And in all honesty, preparing in advance is the most important thing. Obviously, cooking your meals every day is a nightmare. It's time consuming if you've got a job, if you've got kids, if you've got any kind of life outside of the gym, then you want to be meal prepping in bulk. So generally I will meal prep on a Sunday, ready for a Monday, Tuesday, sometimes even a Wednesday, and then I'll meal prep again on that Wednesday, ready for the Thursday, Friday and the Saturday, and then continue like that two possibly 3 times a week, because I don't like to freeze too much of my food. I like it to be fresh, so you don't want to cook too far in advance, because then the food starts to taste a bit disgusting, starts to be past its best. So with regards to things that I've come across in the past with meal prepping, so cost. Okay, I need to eat healthy. Oh my god, it's really expensive. I can't afford to do that. I can't afford to buy 5 million tons of chicken breast because it costs too much. I think the important thing, unless you're obviously about to step on the stage at Olympia or something like that, is to meal prep inside of your budget. So if you can't afford to buy just chicken breast, or you can't afford to buy steak, then buy the next best thing. So one of the good cheats that I found with chicken is to buy a whole chicken, because it's cheaper, and you get a range of nutrients. So you'll get a different nutritional profile from chicken legs, different vitamins and minerals, than you would from the chicken breast. But it's important to still get as much chicken breast as you can, because obviously it's lower in fat. So I roast my chicken. I roast it upside down, so that when it's cooked, all of the skin that would normally be nice and crispy on the chicken breast is wet and soggy, so you don't eat it, because if you're trying to cut, then you don't want to be consuming chicken skin, because that's a waste of calories. So you take all the skin off as soon as it's cooked, cook it upside down, and the breasts will also be nice and juicy, because again, you don't want to eat bone dry chicken, because you're not going to be able to stick to that, and if you do stick to it, it's going to be really painful. And then when you chop up all the chicken, I strip the entire chicken, the underneath of it, the legs, the wings, the breast, all of it, mix it all up so you get a good mix of leg meat, breast meat, all together, dark meat, white meat, all mixed up together, and then weigh it all out. And I think weighing food is probably one of the most strangely criticised things that I do from anyone who isn't doing this kind of diet. They don't necessarily criticise it in a negative way, but they just think it's a bit strange. You see the look on people's faces when you say, oh yeah, weigh out my food, and they're like, why? But it's important to weigh out your food, because if you don't weigh out your food, how do you know how much you're getting? Other than when you take a protein shake and you've read the back of the tub. So it's important that you weigh your food. I weigh all my food cooked, and I'd be lost without my scales. So, and I think it's incredibly important to weigh all of your food until you get a really good feel for how much a certain amount of protein is, or how much a certain amount of carbs are by eye, and that takes a long time. So it is a case of taking scales everywhere. Makes eating out very difficult, because you're quite limited unless you have scales with you, and then you look real crazy when you pull out your scales and harvester to weigh the food on your plate, so you know what you're getting. And it's important to be accountable, so to log what you're doing, and to make sure that you keep track of what you're eating, because before you know it, you can quite easily get carried away drinking your calories. So you go to one of the many coffee shops around and you buy yourself a nice frothy latte with some caramel sauce on it, and you've just added 200 calories to your day. Well, that 200 calories could very well have been 1 or 2 or more of your portions of carbohydrate for the day. So now you can't have your rice. So it's about being aware of what you're consuming, and being aware of what has calories in and what doesn't have calories, and how your body reacts to things. So with regards to meat, so like I say, with the chicken, I use generally a whole chicken because I eat quite a lot of chicken and I have a lot of people to feed in my family, so I don't feel like I can go out and just eat chicken breast because that's expensive and unnecessary. With regards to things like beef, generally I eat ribeye steak, and if I don't eat ribeye steak, then I will buy lean mince. I usually go into a supermarket when it's about to be reduced, and I'll either freeze it as soon as I get it home, or I will cook it as soon as I get home, and I'll make a burger out of it. So in the burger, I will literally put salt and pepper, one egg, which I will account for in the calories, and make up some 5% lean mince burgers, which are great replacement for steak and a fraction of the cost. With regards to things like carbohydrates, generally I stick to rice quite a lot, and sweet potato, occasionally white potato. I think it's important to mix it up. One of the things I've also found quite helpful is to have a quick guide of what different types of food have in them. So a quick reference guide, you can make it quite easily by doing a bit of Google searching, or even just getting a database from one of the app stores, and being able to have some way of accessing your favorite foods. So okay, I really like to eat, I don't know, a chicken sub. What is in it? When can I have it? How can I make this fit my diet? Or can I not make it fit my diet? And you have to find ways to be flexible but inside of some boundaries. So I think if you're too rigid, then you'll never stick to your diet, because you'll just always want that cheat meal, and when you get to a cheat meal, you'll go above and beyond what you're meant to have done. If you are too loose and you have no guidelines and you have no way of keeping track of what you're doing, well, you're never going to know what you're doing, so you're never going to hit any kind of calorie target. And if you do, well, it's just by fluke. So if you're trying to gain weight, you obviously need to be in a calorie surplus, but you don't want to be in too high of a surplus. You only want to be gaining around 1/4 pound a week, in my opinion, because then you're putting on lean mass. You don't just want to put on fat, because then you're just going to have to cut it all off anyway. And if you're losing weight, you kind of only want to be losing a few pounds at most a week, because you don't want to be, again, losing lean muscle that you're coming by. So meal prep is probably one of the most important things that goes on. It does take a bit of time, but if you set aside a bit of time, plan it, put it into chunks, so do a few times a week in bulk, put it in the fridge. You can buy stuff from the supermarket as they're discounting it, put it in the freezer. You get great deals on fish. The fish counters are constantly getting rid of fish that people don't want to buy. White fish, you can buy fresh white fish, chuck it in the freezer, defrost it, pan fry it. It's great. Save having to just microwave it all the time, which is the worst thing in the world. Microwaved white fish is the bane of my life. So any time I can ever find a way to have a baked piece of fish or a pan fried piece of fish with some nice seasoning on it, put it with some asparagus, great. Anyone want any particular information with regards to what to eat, when to eat it, doing a meal plan, that kind of thing, get in touch. Subscribe, like, leave me a comment, send me an email, join me on Instagram, whatever you want to do, find a way to get in touch. Love to speak to you, and hopefully we can go from there. Speak to you soon. Bye.